Hey, what's up, Facebook, YouTube, Apple, Spotify, wherever you get your podcast needs from. It's your boy back again on this beautiful Wednesday night. Black back with another episode of Sports Talk with KC. Yes, it's been some months. I miss you guys so much. I'm glad to be back on this beautiful platform that I've created. Please like, share, subscribe to Title Town TV, the brand that I'm under, which is my brand, also as Lamar, as well as Lamar LP Pulliam. Please like and share all our podcasts, YouTube channels, all that good stuff. But we all here came here tonight. You came here for a sports talk with KC. Here, me myself, KC, deliver my first NFL mock draft of the year. Yeah, I've been slacking a little bit. No, we got the draft coming up in here in a few short weeks. Um, but let's get into it, man. I will be using Pro Football Focus mock draft machine. Here we are. If you guys can't see it, please let me know. Um, let's get into it. Of course, we have the Carolina Panthers who traded up to number one a few months ago with the Bears to select their quarterback, probably their quarterback of the future. Um, I hear some rumbling that it's Bryce for sure. I'm here the Anthony Richardson is climbing up the board. I'm here CJ is slightly ahead of Bryce because of his size um, and his NFL ready body. But me personally, this mock draft personally is what I would do. So please, fans, keep it coming to yourself. If I draft somebody that your team that you don't like, please comment who you rather I have, whether they are on the board to you or I've already selected them before. I might possibly be doing a fan constructed mock draft to where I take all the comments and inboxes I get from each team and give you the fans. So if you're fans of all 30 teams, whatever 30 teams, please comment and inbox me who you think they're gonna draft with their first pick. Let's go and get it started. I have the Panthers taking quarterback out of Alabama, Bryce Young. Like I said before, this is what I would do. Bryce is my number one quarterback. Honestly my number one quarterback in Bama history. I know he doesn't have the championship resume as a Tua Tagovailoa or a AJ McCarron, guys that matter who've won championships previous years to Alabama, but just purely playing the quarterback position and the things he's done, the poise he's shown, the clutchness he's shown, young in his career so far. Definitely put him in at least the top three of Bama quarterbacks, especially under Nick Saban. Number two, like I mentioned before, this is what I would do if I'm the uh, the Texans. I'm taking the next best quarterback on board, which is CJ Stroud, in my opinion. They have and they can do a lot of things with those two picks. They can go quarterback here, and then go a defensive player or a weapon for that quarterback at 12, or they can do reverse order. Um, Take an impact defensive player like a Will Anderson or Jalen Carter and here at two, but and also then turn back around at 12. Hope of maybe a Will Levis fall or maybe still get a weapon or an offensive lineman for to protect whoever's playing quarterback next year for the Houston Texans. But for me, I'm taking CJ Stroud going at the second best quarterback in the draft. Both these guys, you can't really go wrong. One, two. I would love to see Bryce play under a fellow Alabama alum and D'Amico Ryans, but his talent is too good to pass him up at one. At number three, I actually have a trade here. Let's see the trade offers we have right now. Seattle wants to move up. I don't see that actually happening, but let me do my own trade. So I have the Colts trading up from 4 to 3. Um, from 4 to 3. No, let me go in and force it. Shut that down. Let me do it. This trade could look like first and second this year and the first and second next year. Um, Seeing that's what's been really trending the last a couple years on how things trades are made. But yeah, man, the Colts future sitting on these journeyman cornerbacks who are on their legs as NFL players. But yeah, they will be drafting Anthony Richardson out of Florida. Very, very inexperienced, only 13 starts. I'm sure you guys heard already. 13 starts. Didn't win a whole lot at Florida. They did knock off number 7 at the time, Utah. So it was a pretty impressive victory. But even in the games they won and he was the starter, he wasn't that great, under 60% passing on 3,000 passing yard, but he was a 1,000 yard rusher. He's a bigger quarterback. Get a lot of comparisons to Cam Newton and Cam Jackson. I have a mock ready with him actually going number 1 from what I hear, what might possibly happen. But yeah, Anthony Richardson here at 3 to the Colts. Colts secure their future with the weapons they have in place and that defense who's steady growing and improving each and every year. Look out for the Colts in the next couple of years being a true playoff threat. Here at 4, I have the Arizona Cardinals selecting another Alabama player, Madison Jr. Possibly the best edge rusher in the last couple of years. Him and Aiden Hutchinson went at it for the top edge rusher last year. Will wasn't able to come out. Of course, Aiden was the second overall pick to the Lions last year. But I'm sure if Will was able to go last year after the season he had, he might have went number 1 over Trayvon Walker. We don't know. So we'll see how these guys' career evolve in the NFL, how it goes in the NFL. But I'm definitely a huge fan um, of Will Anderson Jr. All right. At number 5, I have the Seattle Seahawks taking Jalen Carter. This might be a controversial pick. Him still landing in the top 5 despite the off-field issues of he had a couple weeks ago, whatever, 4 months ago, dealing with that accident where one of the Georgia staff members fatally passed away in a race. I don't think that affects his draft stock too much. I think the draft is going to fall in his favor. Let the quarterbacks go, and then the teams who really need defensive players like the Cardinals, the Seahawks, the Lions, the Raiders, the Falcons going to need guys like Jalen Carter to push that pocket, to put a pressure on the quarterback from the inside. And so I don't see him falling no further than 8. And so him going in at 5, going to Seattle, play on the coach like Pete Carroll, who's handled players who have had some off-field issues. Definitely is a great landing spot for him. Let's keep the defensive train going. With the next pick, the Detroit Lions with a 6th pick Tyree Wilson, a very versatile defensive lineman, a guy who I didn't know much about during the season, but after the season was over with, I kept hearing his name during the draft process, and every time I watch film on him, I'm more and more impressed. Had a presser showing at the pro day. Can play some 3 technique, can play some 5, can play some edge. The Lions are getting a very special player to put opposite Aiden Hutchinson, the 6th overall pick from last season. Moving on to the Oakland Raiders. The Oakland Raiders, they need a lot, man. This could be a spot for Will Levis. I'm not a fan of. I think Jimmy G is a solid starter, at least for this season or next. So that position right now is okay. I wouldn't touch quarterback at the moment. Maybe you get a Hendon Hooker to fall to you in the 2nd. which he's getting a lot of buzz to possibly go first round, despite possibly not being available this season with a late ACL tear. And late in the season, this past season, the offensive lineman is an interesting um, way to go. With them having Colton Miller and the rest of the offensive linemen over the Oakland Raiders. I said Oakland, Las Vegas Raiders offensive line. Improving the offensive line is definitely a must. Defensive line didn't get very much from Chandler Jones since trading for him. Matt Scarby is going to be him. He's going to be him. So a guy like Miles Burke could fit here, but I'm going to go DB. I'm going to go with somebody in the defensive backfield. They haven't had an impact defensive back in a very long time. I know a lot of people right now are really high on Devon Witherspoon, but I know how the Raiders play. They rather have bigger corners, and if that's what separates him, Devon Witherspoon and Christian Gonzalez, I think Christian Gonzalez edges him out, and he's my top corner. Corner out of Oregon, Christian Gonzalez, long rangey, could possibly play some safety here in the future, but right now he's my top corner. Moving on to number 8, I have the Atlanta Falcons taking an in-state kid from out of University of Georgia, right down the road in Athens, Georgia. Where is he? There he goes. At Pro Day, showed some things that we now see why it happened on the field. Showed the explosion. Ran 4.35, I'm not mistaken, in the 40. Broad jump very well. Those drills translated to what we saw on the field. Of course, he was overshadowed by Trevon Walker, Nakobe Dean, Jordan Davis last year. This year, Jalen Carter, Keelan Ringo, guys like that, bigger, high-profile names. But once you put on that film, you really see Nolan Smith is the guy that really ran the defense outside of Jalen Carter. You know what I'm saying? Nolan Smith really was that guy who kept the defense going, was getting those sacks when Jordan needed him. And he's going to do the same for the Falcons. All right, at number 9. This is like splitting hairs, honestly. I think the logical choice is for them to go tackle. Of course, you have a local kid and Peter Swansea, who's playing for Northwestern right now. Could be the pick, but he's not my top tackle. And so, with that being said, without going to with Paris Johnson, big offensive tackle out of Ohio State. He's been my number one throughout this whole process for the most part. Bryce Jones at one point was collecting some steam. I think he's kind of a little bit as far as being that top tackle to go. Darnell Wright is really, really a fast riser right now. I don't see him getting out of the top 20. But if he does, somebody's getting a steal. But yeah, Perry Johnson takes over at left tackle for the Chicago Bears for the next 2 years, man. Just to feel against a big, strong protector of the protected blind side, so he can get the ball out to newly acquired DJ Moore, Darnell Mooney, Chase Claypool, the receivers like that, and continue to build the offense to be one of the better offenses in the league. They haven't did very much offensively in the last couple of few years. All right. The Philadelphia Eagles. Super Bowl runner-up, so you wouldn't expect them to need a whole lot. But unfortunately, they did lose star running back Miles Sanders. They did pick up some backs in free agency, but none of these guys are even close to touching my guy out of Texas, Bijan Robinson. Yes, I'm doing it. Putting the plug, top 10 running back right now. Why not take a chance on? Well, they did it for me. All right. So why not take a chance on a possible generational running back, a position of need, position that you addressed a little bit, but could be better. With the guy like Bijan, you have a newly signed contract, and Jalen Hurts. You have now have Bijan Robinson. You have AJ. You have Devontae Smith. You have the core guys on your offense to make that run. Now you have Dallas Carter at tight end. You think continue to build the offensive line, the defensive line. The Eagles gonna be scared for years to come. They probably gonna start I'm not gonna lie to you, might start rising with the Chiefs or the Bills. All right. Let's go on to the Texans. With the next pick of the Texans. This is plain simple for me. You already drafted CJ Stroud out of Ohio State. Why not reunite him with his weapon? You already lost Brandon Cooks in free agency by trading him to Dallas. So why not get a replacement for him and Jack Smith and Nick Jigma? A guy a couple years ago, we thought if he had a chance to come out as a sophomore, would have been the top receiver taken. Now he still was able to come back for another season and be the top receiver taken this year, despite being outshined by Marvin Harrison Jr. this past season and dealing with injuries. He still was able to be the receiver we think he is, and reuniting with CJ and the pros will do nothing but help both of them and the Texans organization. All right, at 13, I have another trade. Let's not stop the inevitable and get Aaron Rodgers to New York. There's a report that the Jets don't want to give a first-round pick. They'd rather give up a couple seconds. I think they just flat out just go ahead and trade. Aaron Rodgers for the 13 overall pick, which means the Green Bay Packers have pick 13 and 15 now to work with. I mean, asking who I think they're picking. It could go normal couple ways. For that trade. All right. All right. So the Jets trade for Aaron Rodgers with the 13th overall pick. Now the Packers are picking 13. I have them selecting Peter Skoronski. Go ahead and get the offensive tackle of the future. David Bakhtiari is aging, and he could slide right in that right tackle. And then whenever David Bakhtiari is ready to hang him up, we can either transition Peter Skoronski is over, unless he pans out to be a better offensive guard, which even with that being said, he's still going to be appropriate for you. Building up the trenches for Jordan Love. Who's now your starting quarterback? Jump ahead of the Patriots. I could definitely see a world where the Patriots selected Peter Skoronski if no one does before 14. All right, next, Lucas Van Ness. One of the easier picks in this draft. Lucas Van Ness just feels like a Patriot type player. I definitely see him in a Patriots uniform, being that edge setter for that defense. Can play all across the defensive line, and that Patriots defense, you being versatile is very valuable to them. All right. First tight end comes off the board right here. Of Green Bay. They're giving Jordan Love all the love, man. We're gonna protect him. We're gonna give him someone to throw to. So we getting all the love, man. He's getting the love he was supposed to get last season. They should have sat A-Rod and let Jordan Love do his thing, man. But it's all right though. He gets the full season to himself. Maybe he has a Pat Mahomes type turn. Not saying he's Pat Mahomes, just saying as Pat Mahomes sat behind Alex Smith those games and took over for him, showed signs of potential. The next season, MVP, championship, he could have won the greats. You never know. Let's give him all the resources to do so. Dalton Kincaid out of Utah. In the beginning of this process, Michael Mayer was my tight end one. Probably was for you guys too, and everyone else at some point in time. But Jack Smith and Dalton Kincaid had definitely took over the tight end one spot for me. All right. Moving on to the Washington Commanders. Another pretty easy pick. Certainly a position of need. I'm going to go with Devon Witherspoon, a cornerback out of Illinois. We built on the smaller side, but he has the best film out of all the corners in this year's draft. Certainly is a shutdown corner. We add a guy like this to a defense who has all-star Pro Bowl caliber defense line that gets after the passer, and you have a guy like Devon Witherspoon in the secondary shutting down receivers. Man, that defense is could be one of the better ones. This could be a spot where they trade down and possibly get a Hendon Hooker late in the first. But I think Devon Witherspoon value right here at 16 is too great for them to pass up. Next pick, pretty obvious. I think everyone has this mocked because of who his father is, and also it's a position of need for the Steelers, man. Losing Cam in the offseason to the Lions. We need another corner, man. And Joey Porter Jr. is one of the better ones in this year's draft. Definitely top 3, top 4 corner. Depends on how you view Deontay Banks. Top 3, top 4 corner. 18. All right. We have another tight end coming off the board here, 18, Michael Mayer. I was going to wait and maybe possibly get a corner since they traded Jeff Okudah. Possibly getting a Deontay Banks or Cam Smith right here. But I think they can probably get one of the second-round picks corners and be just fine with them. But Michael Mayer is the top, if not the top tight end, definitely top 2 to him. During our season, the Lions from the first round pick T.J. Hawkinson to in division rival Vikings, and so they need a tight end. They have Jameson Williams, as well as Amon. How you say his name? Ross St. Brown at receiver, one of the best young receivers in the game right now. You have DeAndre Swift in the backfield. You have Jared Goff, who's a steady hand at quarterback. So give him some weapons and see what y'all do. Continue to build that franchise up for whoever. Maybe next season you do aren't as great as you was last year, but you're steady improving. And maybe can get a Caleb Williams, a Spencer Rattler, Drake may fall in your lap. You never know, and be the quarterback of the future. But I think Jared Goff right now can hold it down, steady hold it down as they build around whoever the quarterback of the future will be. The Bucks. I see a lot of people go edge for them. I see a lot of people go corner. See people trade up for Anthony Richardson. I'm indifferent. I think whoever is given that shot right now, it seems like Baker Mayfield. Regardless of who's back there, needs a legitimate shot, and the only way you do that is by protecting them and giving them the great weapons. You have Chris Godwin, you have Mike Evans, on the most consistent receivers in all of football, and so getting a guy like Broderick Jones, who is one of the top tackles in this year's class, to protect Baker's blind side, could work wonders for the offense. With the next pick, the Seattle Seahawks continue to add to that defense that's already great. Who picked up Dylan Carter earlier. Now they get Miles Murphy, a guy who was projected early in this process as a top 10 player, falls to the 20 because of some risers and other positions started to get a run on. Okay. Chargers, Austin Eckler is still on the roster currently. Bijan Robinson was drafted by the Eagles. I don't think you guys are going to reach for Jahmyr Gibbs. But you guys have a hole at receiver. Not really a hole. I would much rather you guys improve that position. You have Mike Williams, who, when he's healthy, is one of the best young receivers in the game. You have Keelan Allen, the veteran presence in that receiver room. You have Joshua Palmer, who it makes plays despite not being as touted as some receivers coming out. But he's still young and good. But I think you can be even at receiver room can even better. And so with that being said, I have you guys drafting Jordan Addison, guy who played not too far from Seattle. Los Angeles. And Jordan Addison. I would love to see him play with Pittsburgh. With his former quarterback, but he drafted there. So Addison falls 21 to the Chargers. All right, Baltimore fans. Quentin Williams, Darian Ranson, all my Facebook friends who are Baltimore fans, please tap in right now. Here's your time, man. Yes, I'm going to receive for you guys. Who do y'all want me to go with? I'm stuck between Quinn Johnston and Jalen Hyatt. Jalen Hyatt had the speed that a quarterback like Lamar Jackson would like. Quinn Johnston, despite being the size he is, doesn't high point the ball. Had deceptive speed. Some places he looks super fast. Some places he looks average. You never know what you're getting with him. I really would like to see Jalen Hyatt in that mixture of receivers in that receiver room. You have Odell, you have Rashad Bateman, you have those two great tight ends, and Mark Andrews and Coach Carolina kid. I can't remember the moment. Isaiah Likely. At tight end, adding some speed, a deep threat like Jalen Hyatt could take that to new heights. All right. With 23rd overall pick, I have the Minnesota Vikings. Not taking the receiver. I have them taking the corner. Deontay Banks. I didn't get the chance to watch very much of Maryland this season, but in this process of hearing so much about him and him possibly being one or two corner in this year's draft, I've been very intrigued about what he could possibly do. So I turned on the film, I watched it, and he would fit so good in that Minnesota's defense. Minnesota has been needing a number one corner, a true number one corner since the days of Xavier Rhodes, guys like that. And so relying on a guy like Patrick Peterson as your top corner, who's Asian, who isn't the All-Pro Pro Bowler as he used to be, as your number one corner, is not going to kill it in this league. All right, next up we have the Jacksonville Jaguars. They catch a player who's falling, and Brian Branch, who can be a top slot corner, who can be a top free safety, things that matter. They need need DBs in general. To see his evolution on campus at Bama to now, much improved. I'm glad to see him find his way to the first round somehow, some way. All right, Giants. We know how bad you guys need a receiver. I think a receiver that should be more talked about than what he is Zay Flowers. Be undersized, but that's okay. At this point, the Giants need weapons. They were able to go out and trade for Darren Waller. I think Sterling Shepard is still on the roster. Pair him with Zay Flowers, Saquon, and my boy DJ Daniel Jones. You might have a decent offense. All right, Cowboys. This could be a chance for you guys to pick an in-state kid in Quentin Johnston. But I don't think you guys have other needs. I think you guys can trade back and get some more draft picks. Since you guys don't have that many, I do have you guys trading with my squad, the Kansas City Chiefs, for the 31st overall pick. Yes, we picked last, guys. We are the champs. You feel me? 31 for 36. All right. The Chiefs are now on the clock. I have them drafting Quentin Johnston instead. The Chiefs, smaller shifty receivers. They have super speed and all these things, but never had a big play, big size guy. I guess Travis Kelce will be that guy for them. A bigger, smaller tight end who could flex out wide. But Quentin Johnson give you that kind of that same production, same size in that way at receiver. All right, moving on to the 27 overall pick. Like I said, I think when I began scouting, I think he was around a third round prospect. Now he's in that late first round territory now, man. So I'm super proud of doing that right. The Bills getting him at 27 is a steal, man. Plug and play whether left or right tackle, and just let him have it, man. Let him protect Josh Allen, as well as give him some more time to get the ball out to Stephon Diggs and Gabriel Davis. All right, Bengals. Bengals fans, get excited. All right, we're gonna get you the missing piece to the offense, man. Guys were able to go out and get offensive linemen and Orlando Brown. Of course, you have Jamar Chase and Tyler Boyd and T. Higgins, Joe Mixon in the backfield, Joey B at quarterback. Offense is nearly complete, man. You need a tight end. Luke Musgrave, a tight end out of Oregon State, man. Another one of those fast rising guys who should see some early play time, especially if those receivers I mentioned before are covered. Should get some balls thrown his way early and often to help that offense grow into the future and be much better than they were last year. Still a great offense. Were they able to beat out the Kansas City Chiefs, but who did? All right. The New Orleans Saints. Um, had them selecting Louisiana kid, edge rusher out of LSU. Um, BJ Ojolari. That man may sound familiar. Edge rusher out of Georgia was drafted a couple of seasons ago to the New York Giants. Has played well, very well. I'm not sure if they're related or not, but yeah, BJ Ojolari, LSU edge rusher. Saints have needs on both sides of the ball in the trenches, and so them getting a player like BJ here late in the first round should help fill some needs. All right, next up we have the Philadelphia Eagles taking in-state kid as well. Pittsburgh, Elijah Camp. Who process. He's here to he's known to be poor man's a poor man's Aaron Donald. I guess because he wouldn't fit too. Um, well, yeah, man, Clyde Cansey, I think beginning of the process, a lot of people I've mentioned before was later picks, maybe second, third round. But he's risen up the board. I've seen him going early as 10 to the Eagles. And so him catching them at 30 is uh, another steal. I thought I've already traded this already. But oh well. Dallas is taking this pick here with the Chiefs. We had the fortune trade. I thought I already did this earlier. Um, but yeah, man, the Chiefs trade with the Dallas Cowboys to select uh, Brian Brzee, defensive tackle. The defense is loaded, man. Some say was not the reason why they wasn't as good. Offense probably to blame for that. You could see them selecting Jameer Gibb. They did lose Ezekiel Elliott in free agency. I can see them drafting Trenton Simpson. It was another need. Corner, not so much. They already traded for Stephon Gilmore, one of the better corners in the league. Brian Brzee completes that defense. You have Michael Parsons. You have Lee Van Bosk. You have what is his name? Jabril Cox. You have Trevon Diggs and Gilmore at corner. Having an impact defensive tackle who can rush the passer from the inside, like Brian Brzee, can work wonders for that Dallas defense, man. But yeah, that was my of the year. Please like, share, subscribe, and comment who you think your teams have chosen. If you like my draft, please give me a like, heart, whatever you want to do. Please subscribe to Titletown TV on YouTube, Spotify, Apple, whatever you get your podcast needs from. It's been your boy on this beautiful Wednesday night. As always, KC, peace out.